So I'll demonstrate a short answer style of question as well. But like I said, it is one of the trickier ones to set up. Because we have to teach the system all the possible correct answer variations we think a student might submit. So let's say the question was about the westernmost province in Canada. The correct answer is British Columbia. But we have to think about all the different ways a student might be correct, but not type it out character for character the exact same way we've put here. So you'll see that I've input the most correct answer, the one that I would expect to be the most common. But we have to think about whether we would be willing to give that student the same score, 1 out of 1, if they instead just put BC or B period, C period. Or maybe they spell Columbia wrong. But again, they essentially knew the answer, and so we don't want to be too harsh with penalizing them. Typing new possible correct answers, hitting enter to add that to the list. And there's no limit to the length of this list. The other thing that we'll look at is whether or not this particular short answer would have been case sensitive. In some cases, it probably does need to be. In cases where you might be dealing with chemical compounds or something. But if you're also okay if a student typed British Columbia without the capitals or lowercase bc, if you still wanted to give those students the correct answer, then by default, this is case insensitive. You'd actually have to go out of your way to change it to make it case sensitive, meaning in this case, if a student typed lowercase British Columbia, they'd be considered wrong. Now, another common use case that I've seen for short answer is asking students to list several items. And as you'll see, the system allows you to create multiple blanks. In the space below, list 3 terms that we discussed. List 3 provinces, list 3 letters. So we can add 3 blanks. The problem with this, though, is that unless there was a very specific order you needed students to list these items in, then you'd mostly want to consider them to be correct, whether they put what you expected in the first blank, or the second blank, or the third blank. In this case, I would, of course, have to put every possible letter in every possible blank, unless the question, again, was very specific about expecting an order, a process of some kind. So in particular, when you start to add multiple blanks with some open-endedness to the order or selection of a definition, for instance, that a student might input, the less likely it is that the system is going to correctly automatically grade this thing. So something that I'll be demonstrating in a later video in this series is how to manually grade this style of question. And I would say, as a best practice, if you end up using short answer questions like this, even for a single blank, even if you think that you've gotten every possible incorrect spelling covered, as a best practice, you should still get in the habit of looking through student responses and checking to see if there might have been any grades that were given as a 0 that you feel did in fact warrant some amount of marks.